Oh Lord, they took a Lord, they took a Lord, they took a they took a oh Lord help us, they took Tina from us, they took her. Help me, Lord, help me, oh help me, Lord, help me, Lord, help me. Oh, they took her from us. Oh, hey, Tina, how you doing?
You done?
Well, what you trying to say?
Is you done?
I'm mourning.
Mm.
They took Tina Turner from us, y'all. Anime Bullock.
What a very talented musical individual.
Yeah, and they took her from. Somebody made a Facebook post, and somebody was like, "We shouldn't wait for our artists to die, like the older artists. We shouldn't wait for them to die to listen to their music." I'm like, I never stopped listening to Tina's music. She's got songs on my playlist,
Right.
like "Simply the Best." We don't need another hero. Private Dancer. What's love got to do with it? Stormy Window. Um, Let's Stay Together, and a lot more hits. So I listen to her all the time, even though before she passed away. So don't put me in that category with them people. How you doing? I got some chicken stuck in my teeth. But
Same.
welcome to the show, y'all. We are happy to be back. This is not a rerun. If you're watching, we are really live right now. This is not a rerun. And in the background, y'all hear Torian learning. He's learning how to make cat noises. He's on his tablet learning. So if y'all hear that in the background, that's Torian learning. So what been going on? What going on? Oh, by the way, the other two, Theo B and Esme or Esme, however she pronounced her name this month, Lynette. Those two are out doing something strange for a little change. So that's why they ain't here on this episode with us right now.
You say
Wait,
what?
wait, they doing something strange for a little change. I'm just saying. Oh my goodness! And I just want to point out, I don't know for some reason, every time I watch the opening video, and the picture of Tina show up and they say, "Hey y'all," I don't know why I always hear her voice when I see that picture, and I read that, I hear her voice every time. Like it'd be like picturing her walking into a room. She'd be like, "Hey y'all," I'll be here.
Hey y'all.
Oh my god, that's how I be hearing it. Oh, so we the most important thing we got to talk about right now. Not only is our government stupid, I don't know if they ever raised the debt ceiling thing yet. I don't know. I haven't heard any news reports about it. Um, if the debt ceiling isn't raised, well, right, basically, if they didn't raise it by, I believe, by tomorrow, people who receive like certain benefits like Social Security and stuff, maybe SSI. So people who receive those kind of benefits and they receive them at the beginning of the month will not be receiving them now to the end of the month if they even pass a debt ceiling to be raised. And but Republicans are bargaining that, well, if y'all want us to raise the debt ceiling so that America can pay all their bills, they want to cut 21 million people off of food stamps. They want to gut Social Security. Um,
That ain't enough.
they also want to cut veterans benefits, so for they be able to receive less care from the VA. So they're going to cut VA positions where veterans be able to get less care for free. And it was some other stuff that was put into this bill that they try to get passed also to raise the debt ceiling. So basically, right now, it's like the Republicans are holding America hostage right now.
That's terrible, man. First of all, I feel like all of that is non-negotiable. Like all of the everything they want to cut are like vital programs. Food stamps, nah. VA benefits, nah. Like
Right.
Social Security, nah. Like you stop meddling around that if you're not gonna make it better. You trying to cut spending for those things? Out of all the stuff you can cut spending for, terrible.
So one of the things I think they should cut spending on, say like you a senator and you get elected to one for one term as a senator. Say you got elected as a senator at age 40 and now you're age 70 now. And you only served one time as a senator. So you haven't served as a senator since you were 44 years old. But guess what we are still paying for, even though you have not served in government in over 40, what was that, 40 years?
Yep.
We're still paying for the health care. Every living senator right now and congressman that has served, they once they get elected, they get free health care for life. So imagine how many living congressmen and senators and all them people that we have alive right now, and that we're picking up their health care bills,
But you
even
don't
though
want
these
to
some of these people are no longer in office, huh?
but you don't want to give free health care to the vets though.
Exactly. So if it's anything that needs to be cut, you should only be able to get health care, or if they want to say free health care or health care, you shouldn't be able to get that if you are a active person, senator. And even then, I honestly think that they should pay for their own health insurance just like a normal American. So we cut out their health insurance plans in general and make them pay for health insurance like normal people, then we could save millions and billions of dollars in health and costs by cutting their health care and making them pay for it and get regular insurance policies like everybody else. That'll solve the social security issue by itself.
Sound like a plan to me.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. It sounds like a plan. And then then locally, I think next month, I think we have to go vote. They're trying to increase these sales tax here in Milwaukee County to pay for the fire and police pension plans. That's not my problem. Y'all should have did better with budgeting money. You guys this city spend more money on policing than they do public schools.
That's terrible. That's a terrible statistic.
Right. So it's like what are we doing here? And then the crazy part about it is, with the amount of money that they are spending on policing, how come when somebody called 911, the response time is still between 5 to 10 minutes before the police arrive at your house?
Oh, it's gotten worse since I was younger. Absolutely. Some people say they don't even show up.
Right. And I'm like, if I call 911 and say, hey, somebody's being beat or something, or I'm in danger, it shouldn't take the police officers 20 minutes to show up. And then the thing about it is, say like um a violent crime was to happen in the house and a person get on the phone and they report like, hey, the person who's committing the crime is still here, active in the house, doing whatever, and if you need medical attention and it takes 20 minutes for the police to get there, the medical team is not going to roll in and give you medical attention until police give them all clear that it's safe for them to go in.
Yeah.
Now, some paramedics do have their own discretion to move in and give medical care if they want to, without the scene being completely clear for them to go in and deemed safe. Some medical professionals do have that option to do that. But in this city, they're not going to do that until they get the all clear from the police officers to go in and do medical care. Yeah. So the paramedics can arrive there before the police officers, and yet still they cannot give you medical care until it's cleared. So they might station like 2 blocks away and just be waiting for the police to get all clear to go in. But it's taking the police 20 minutes to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because like there are times where I see police, they be parked on the side of the road, their emergency lights flashing and stuff. They don't have a car pulled over, and you ride past and they just sitting there on a computer, or you see them on their phone texting or on Facebook. Like, what's the point of this? I get it, people gonna see that and they gonna slow down, but at the same time, like they sit in these certain spots and you think they're doing radar and all this other kind of thing. They're just sitting there on their phones.
Terrible.
But yet, you guys decide to spend more money on policing than public education. Mm-hmm. So our future, that's the next generation that's supposed to take care of us and keep this country moving forward, and what should I say, this state moving forward or this city or whatever, does not have the necessary skills that they need to do anything.
Nope, it's gonna be sad out here. It's already
Mhm.
sad out here.
It's already bad enough these kids don't know cursive writing.
I know
It's
that's
crazy because y'all, I started doing like DoorDash to make some extra cash on the side, because since y'all don't like to donate money to us. But so I had went to this restaurant. I said, "Ooh, thank God I learned how to write cursive. I learned how to read cursive because the sign for the restaurant was in cursive." So I can just imagine somebody that's like 21, 22 years old right now, because that generation was not taught cursive, and then they're out here door dashing, they trying to find this building, and all the red letters is written in cursive. They would never found that restaurant.
sad. That's so sad.
Right. These
That's
kids that
terrible.
they don't have the skills that they need. They was too busy eating Tide Pods.
You and these Tide Pods. You just feel like it's the Tide Pods' fault. It
Yeah, that
ain't
time.
it ain't the lead paint that the parents was eating and never
Well, the,
went to go have their kids lead tested when they
well,
was baby.
the lead paint was our generation. That was us.
Oh, well, it's still happening. These parents gonna bring their kids in to get treatment for high lead levels. So what you trying to say?
I'm just saying that's our fault.
Mm-mm.
But we know life skills to survive. Even though we know people who are a lot older than us and don't have the necessary skills they need to know how to survive in this world or how the world goes around.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, but let's get on to Ron DeSanta. He been signing all these bills, SB 17 or whatever it's called. There's been a lot of bills that he was signing. So he already banned same sex books in schools. So somebody had posted a video, and the city came through to tell them what books they can and cannot have in their school. And any books related to racism, any books related to that's based on ethnics, Black history, um, what else was it? Certain sports books, all this stuff was taken out the schools. He signed a bill where Black HBCUs cannot teach about equality or talk about Black history, or they can't teach about how things should be equal. He signed a bill that they can't do that. And then he signed another bill that says if you have illegal immigrants working for you and you do not report them, we're going to fine you $10,000 per illegal immigrant that we find working for you. So
This is the same
that
man that announced that he was running for president.
yes, and to
Mm,
top it all off, so truckers are no longer going into Florida to deliver food. So a lot of their stores are empty right now.
that's sad.
Um, so these white men who owns like these fields with like these large fields where fruit and stuff grow, he said since the Mexicans left, he had to hire Americans. Americans don't want to do it. They only want to work. He said they can't handle the work. They can't handle the weight of the fruit. He said after about lunch break time, they just leave. So they don't want to do that kind of work. He said the Mexicans were very efficient, and then he was able to get his fields done with the Mexican workers with no problem. If you are a DACA recipient and you live with your parents and they are considered illegal immigrants, they came brought you, they here living illegally. If you do not report your parents that you are living with, you are to be deported back to Mexico. And
That man
then,
is pure evil.
yeah, and then on top of all this, Disney, who is now suing Ron DeSantis for basically abusing his power as governor, they were going to build this whole like office, like shopping plaza complex, whatever it was, to Florida.
Mhm.
It was supposed to bring 2,000 jobs. They were going to take 2,000 jobs from California and bring them to Florida. Disney pulled the plug and said, "Fuck you, we're not doing it." Over Ron DeSantis' decisions.
Good.
Just like I believe it was some type of storm or something happened, and there was a lot of Florida people underwater. Instead of him being in Florida to handle the situation that was going on with his people, he's on a book tour promoting running for president and left his people sitting underwater.
Terrible.
What it do? What it do?
Hey, old man theater.
Hello, hello.
Oh, if anybody asks you what you was doing strange for a little change, just know that they might ask you that. So yeah, that's what's been going on. So right now, and on top of that, so the NAACP's almost forgot Tina sent me this. The NAACP has now issued a travel ban this summer for Black people not to go to Florida in vacation.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! I
You
guess
going
I
out
won't be
there?
going there then. Okay.
I mean, I have to go, but at least mine is in December, so hopefully Ron DeSantis. But then
I could go down there, but if they let me cross or let me through, whatever. But I can't bring my friends with me.
no, and then Florida has this law where if you are running for office, like another type of office, you have to resign as governor. And Ron DeSantis has yet to do that.
You need to hurry up.
And they pass, and the Republicans there are trying to pass laws and bills so that he don't have to do that. Even though there's already a law in place where he has to do it.
No, 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 no. He don't get no pass. He definitely don't. No. Mm-mm. Nope.
So it's been just so much going on. You know, Tennessee still have a ban on drag. Kentucky still have their law where they can expect the genitalia of trans kids, transgender
That one
kids.
bad.
The world is just sick right now.
It
It
is.
it is very very sick right now.
It
It,
is.
it's just been a lot going on. I know I went over a lot within the last like 6 minutes. But Tina, what is your thoughts on the big chunk of news we had going on?
Um, when I started reading about old boy you was just talking about, I don't even want to say his name because I don't care. Um, like I was just blown back as to how is anybody. First of all, how did he get elected?
Right.
Number two, like why are people just like standing by and allowing that to happen? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
at what point, like, do he start violating the Constitution when you say it's giving me Fahrenheit 451? Like, if anybody has ever read that book, because it was originally book made into a movie, it's where it was illegal for you to read books, and they burned all the books where they were at, right? So I
Hmm.
feel like it's stifling freedom of speech, right?
Right.
That's directly to the Constitution. And then on top of that, it's like you're not even getting the parents' feedback. You just putting stuff into action, and then telling a HBCU, like, how you gonna tell a historically Black university not to teach about Black history? You know,
It's crazy.
that blows me back 100%, and it really makes me angry, and I feel really sorry for the people down in Florida, but I really feel like this is something that's going to become a trend. If other legislators see that he's going to get away with this, it's going to start trickling down to other states,
Hmm.
and then you're going to have a mass exodus of these states, and then people piling up into one state that allows this, that, and the other.
Hmm.
So it's just a bad situation for all, and I really feel like it's other things to be aware of as to you want to ban certain books, like how you reevaluate the curriculum for these students. Like we talked about the teenagers, how they have a lack of skills, like all of that stuff. Like they're not going to know how to survive out here. But you want to ban books specifically about this. You want to ban colleges specifically from teaching this. Like you can't. I feel like he's trying to erase parts of history.
Mm-hmm. That's
You can't
exactly what he's trying to do.
you can't do that. And where is the uproar? Like I feel like I only see uproar when I'm on social media and people post different things, but where are the protests in Florida? Where is, and I applaud Disney because I remember I think it was the last time we were on the podcast together where you talked about how they had that loophole.
Mm-hmm.
I applaud Disney 100%. Like they have always been all inclusive with everything they do. Um, and I just feel like hopefully, seeing a big company, an entity like that standing up, like that's I feel like it's a wonderful thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney is primarily focused on the children, so it's like they're showing, the children, hey, this isn't okay. This is not the way that you lead a group of people. You can't hire you the leader of a group of people, but you don't include all the people.
Right.
So that's the way I feel on that. And I feel like it's a big mockery for him to run for president. And now we were complaining about Trump, and
This man is
now
30
we got
times
him.
worse.
Who the hell y'all talking about?
Ron DeSantis.
Who the frick is that?
Man,
He's
look
the
it up.
current governor of Florida right now.
He doing some wild and wicked stuff and getting away
So
with it.
so I did see today when I was scrolling through TikTok when I was on the toilet. Um
No, we
there
don't need to
were
hear
some
that.
people there were some
Okay.
people protesting in Florida.
Dang it.
Okay.
You
Um
such a
there
bastard.
when a lot of these other laws like Tennessee and Kentucky and some of these other places when those laws was being passed, there was people there protesting. So right now, the generation that's under us, the Gen Z generation, so they have this movement called "Fuck Around and Find Out."
I remember you saying that.
So these states, so they are letting these politicians know in these Republican states that are passing these laws that's basically against people's rights and freedom. So in these states, the Gen Z generation has told them, you keep passing these laws, you're going to fuck around and find out and be out of a job.
Mhm.
And so far, they have not lied. Every state, every Republican state that has had some laws passed, the seats were flipped to Democrat due to Gen Zs going out to go vote and voting these Republicans out of office. So the younger generation is stepping up and making their voices being heard, making sure they go onto the election polls to make sure that we don't have these racist bigots in office who are for them. I mean, no, for just the rich. And our way is the right way. The people who want to keep things like it's still 1940 and 50. We are in 2023.
Good Lord.
God
We
damn it.
are back to the future. Damn. Back to the future. I
Well, we
made
are
it. I
we
made
are
it.
in 2023, but
Wow.
y'all want us to live back with y'all want they like a lot of these Republicans who are still in sitting in the house and stuff were who lived during who their glory days when they were younger were during a time where black people had to sit in the back of the bus or give up their seat to a white person. You have to use the white only and the black only bubble. You have to come in through the back door. They have whites only this, whites only that. They want to go back to a time where that time, a lot of these Republicans that are sitting in office today, who was born in the 30s and still wants to be sitting in office.
Mm.
That's why we need to. It needs to be a term limit or an age limit on how long you could be a congressman or a senator because of stuff like this. Because these people, like the majority of Republicans that are who are thinking these laws are such a good idea, are all over 70. There are some young ones who just follow in the lead of their counterparts just to stay on their good side and vote for this stuff. But a lot of people who are putting these bill forwards were either raised by racists or lived during a time where their glory days was it was whites only, whites only can do this, whites only can do that. You need to go through the back door. You know where we have black maids. All that kind of stuff. They want to go back to that time period. That's why they are called conservatives. If for those of you who don't understand, they want to go back to a time and they believe in a time period and they want to keep things the same. They don't believe in progression, which is what the Democrats do, which is crazy. It's a little bit of history facts for y'all. Um, Back in the day, when Abraham Lincoln was president, actually all the well, I should say after well, during his life, but a little after when blacks got the rights to vote or whatever, a little bit after Lincoln freedom. Back then, a lot of people actually voted. Even the poor people. The poor people voted Republicans, and then the rich people voted Democrats. But somewhere along the lines, somewhere in the early to early 1990s, 1900s. I'm sorry, 1900s. It got flipped somehow, and now it turned into the Democrats were pro poor people, and the Republicans turned to pro rich people. So it's crazy how the party system flipped. How like the whole ideas of both parties just totally flipped over time. Which is
Man, where the independents at?
right. We do need independent, and which is crazy because most people like I feel like even in like when I was in high school and we will learn about history, you mostly learn about the Republican and Democratic Party. Is they didn't really mention too much about the Green Party, and I feel like as more people if they were to teach more about the green parties in school, maybe we would have an independent, in office because an independent person they vote green. You kind of see things down the middle. You see things from both sides, and you don't take a side, but you see things from both sides, able to pass laws and get things done in a way where both sides would be happy.
So my mother and I actually watched a really good show with Kiefer Sutherland in it. Where it was called The Designated Survivor. I don't
Oh,
know.
that's a good show. I love that show.
Good. He was an independent, but he became president because somebody bombed the Capitol and killed everybody during what's the major speech that the president has to do every year?
The State of the Union.
Yeah, so during the State of the Union, everybody was bombed. He wasn't there because he was the designated survivor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he was an independent party. I think he was like in the housing sector or something like that. That was his job, and that's why he was in the government. But I love how he stood up and refused to take sides. He made the Democrats and the Republicans work together for the greater good, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
I really would love to see some of that. Now, you said you saw it; it was a good show.
Yeah, I loved it. It's amazing.
Yeah. So if we can get somebody like that, I feel like that would be a big catalyst in this government, you know. And then it was kind of like he went through his first term and then he got reelected as an independent,
Mm-hmm.
which is never who else was an independent? Was it any other president like in real life that was an independent?
I think
Wasn't it George Washington?
I
Or
I think he was Republican.
let's see.
And to be crazy, did y'all know that George Washington turned down being a king? So they tried to make George Washington the king of the United States.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we would almost have like a royal family, like how they got over there in Europe with the Queen Elizabeth and her family. We almost would have had a royal. Speaking of, I don't mean to be disrespectful when I say this to the royal family. I'm trying I'm trying to find a way to say this without being disrespectful. I don't know how to say it. Y'all some nasty people. I was watching this video and it surprised me how many of y'all married y'all cousins. Like I'm
Yeah,
just
that's the
sorry.
thing.
It,
That's the
it's just
thing. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
like y'all nasty. Y'all married y'all cousins and shit. Like like Prince. What's the whatever the new king is. Whatever Harry, Meghan Markle husband, and the brother with the bald head. I don't know his name. Them the two young ones. That not only are they brothers, but they cousins.
So you know how that go with the secession and
I
all of
know,
that.
because I think Prince Philip, or what's his name? Prince Phillips. That's now King Phillips now, something like that.
I'm like that.
Well, Prince Harry and them, and Meghan Markle's father-in-law.
Hmm.
Queen Elizabeth, his wife, I mean his mom that passed away. His mom and dad were cousins. They're like third cousins or something like that. Third or fourth cousins that got married, and they had babies together. You nasties. And I think that Prince Phillips was like, or whoever the king is now, I don't know who the fuck it is. But uh the king now, I think it was, I believe, and it's crazy because in my head when I was watching it, I said, is this the reason why Princess Diana was killed? Because she was the first one that's not was not a part of the royal family that married into the royal family, that wasn't, a cousin, and got married and became famous, and then y'all killed her because y'all know she wasn't part of the royal family. Y'all didn't like that, and she wasn't part of the bloodline. Y'all wanted him to marry somebody within the bloodline still. Like, it just don't make sense.
That's what they say. That's exactly what
Nasty.
they say.
Just nasty.
Yeah. I
Well,
didn't know
I can't say
anybody that was specifically listed as independent, but it was like the Whig Party and the Federalist Party.
yeah, back then, yeah. Instead of it being Democrat or Republic, yeah, it's Whig and the Federalists, yeah. They still nasty, y'all. I just want to say, y'all, they still nasty. I don't know. They're just nasty. I can't say because some of these Americans out here, some of them people be having 25, 30, 40 kids, and then all the kids don't know each other. So some of these brothers and sisters might have had sex with each other, not knowing that they brother and sister. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Woo, child. You over here trying to
But,
open a can of worms, ain't you?
And
but,
that's
but,
the thing.
but somebody went on TikTok though and told their story, and they said that they slept around with their brother, but one of them was adopted, and they eventually got together, and it turns out that the one that was adopted actually was related to this. They were brother and sister, but they didn't know about each other being brother and sister. I think they did a Dana test and found out they was brother and sister. But the crazy part about it is
What test?
the Dana test.
A DNA test?
Yeah, they called Dana. They went to go see Dana.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they went to go see Dana, and Dana said that they was brother and sister. But the crazy part is though, they said they're still so much in love with each other. They still got married to each other.
Yes, I saw that.
Like,
They
what kind of crazy shit is this?
some states allow it.
But isn't all the babies gonna come out with like Down syndrome and stuff like that?
Well, Down syndrome is an extra chromosome. They'll probably have more like okay, science lesson. So they don't want you to procreate with close family because y'all have the same genetic weaknesses. And if you have kids with people who have the same, very similar genetic weaknesses, the baby is going to, that genetic code is going to show or come through stronger, if that makes sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a slight example. Okay, like the booty chin, right? Cleft chin. It's
Mm-hmm.
actually a genetic mutation. And they can't, so over there is a sign of power X, Y, and Z, but it's actually a genetic mutation from inbreeding.
Mm.
So you see people with the cleft chin, that's usually where it kind of came down because they kept inbreeding down the line.
Mm.
The trait is expressed greatly, which leads to like physical deformities, cognitive deficits, because you don't have a stronger code to balance your weak code.
Mm.
And Montreal, we deal with some of those type of people at work.
I knew you. I just knew you was gonna say it. God damn it, theater.
I
Yep, see,
said
that's
it.
the story.
I ain't gonna
Look,
take it back. I ain't gonna take it back. I said it, damn it.
that's the story of the booty chin. It actually comes from inbreeding. It's a genetic mutation, and they made it for people to think that it meant that you had high class, high power, wealthy, but it's because they were sleeping with cousins.
So we can call them booty chin kids.
What? Booty chin kids. Oh my goodness.
I'm just asking a question.
You know,
I mean, those would be the people you just ask, like, is your daddy your cousin?
listen.
Hey, it's a lot of money. Hey, shit.
I mean, it's certain parts of this here great country where that is still practiced, not to maintain bloodlines, though, just because.
Yeah, that's nasty.
All you gotta do is ask some of them people where you from. Mississippi, down south. That's what they do.
Ooh,
Oh,
speaking of another story, so this guy wrote into a podcast and he was saying about how he was all distraught and certain people was blaming him that their family had was falling apart. So he had recently learned that his parents wasn't his real parents. So it turned out that his sister was actually his mom.
Wait.
And so the people that raised him was his grandparents. And his sister, so basically his sister slash mom was like, well, at the time I wasn't ready to be a single mom, and I just couldn't take care of you, so I gave you to my parents, and then they raised them as their child.
We're gonna rewind that back because we just got done talking about incest. Was it his was his mom his actual sister, or did they make him believe that his mom was his sister?
No, his mom, his sister was his birth mom. Like his sister gave
And
birth to him.
so his okay.
that ain't
So
my first time hearing something like that. Oh,
so
yeah.
basically, they just lied to him his whole life. Like he was just raised to believe that was his sister when it was really his mom. So mind you, this kid is like, I believe he said 19 years old. So then somehow he said he ended up telling a cousin because nobody knew about it besides he said he kept trying to get in contact with his mom and she wouldn't talk to him. She wouldn't have no contact with him. She just basically cut off contact. So he said he confided in one of his cousins, and then one of his cousins went back and told the rest of the family, and then that's everything just got out. And said she was trying to keep it a secret from her husband. And her husband actually flew out to visit her son, the wife's son that he didn't know about. And then it turns out that the husband was actually his dad.
Wait. I'm thoroughly.
Dude, it was a movie out like that. I'll be at you not. It was a movie out like that.
So
His brother-in-law is his dad.
yes. So he said that he didn't know. So it turns out that earlier when they were younger, they had an on again, off again relationship. It was like they got together and they ended up breaking up. She never told him about the baby, and she went and had the baby, and they eventually later on in life got back together, got married, and all these other kind of things. And she never told him about the son.
Oh, it's grounds for divorce. I'm sorry. That is too
Yeah, they
much.
did. They actually did. The husband ended up filing for divorce, and he's trying to do his best now to create a relationship with his son that he didn't
That's
know
good.
about.
That's good.
So, and he's like, he's still waiting to hear back from his mom because his mom, I think he said his mom still hasn't talked to him about the whole situation or whatever. But the dad is trying to form a relationship with him.
She need Jesus.
Yeah, like how do you go 19 years without telling somebody like, hey, this is your son? I mean, they probably was married for like 10 years. I don't know how long they were married, but I can't imagine being married for so long and then having this boy coming around me that I've known since he was about, I think he said I guess they got together back together when the boy was like 9 years old. So he known the boy since he was 9, but didn't know that this whole time this boy was his son.
How could her parents do something like that?
Right.
Like if I had to pick one, I would have just pretended like I wasn't your sister and I would have been your mother. You know what I'm saying? That's terrible.
So yeah, she just pawned the baby off on her parents. It was like, here you go, take care of it. That's the people. This people is sick. That's old man theater
That's it.
generation.
That's really, I had no words for that. Like
We tried to get you away, Montreal, but they kept
Oh,
returning.
Lord.
Piece of shit.
return to sender.
Yeah.
He was like, the guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna need years of therapy to deal with this.
Lifetime.
Yeah, probably a
Lifetime.
lifetime of therapy to deal with all of that. All right there.
No good. No good.
Oh God, you must have been around Uncle Ben today.
Besides Jonathan, I said them some sick dudes. But man, this world is just mad as hell, man. It's a crazy world we live in.
That's why I go from point A to point B. I mind my business. I take care of my kids. I pay my bills. And I go on about it. Because it's dangerous out here.
It's real. I wonder how angry these people is mad now that they can't baseline on some certain streets now.
Child, they gonna tear up their cars. What you talking about?
I done seen a couple of them poles that sits in them things tore down. So somebody that hit a couple of them already.
They're definitely gonna tear their cars up. They gonna steal the car first and then tear it up. Baselining.
It's crazy because this morning I was sitting in the living room. It was about like 9:15 this morning, like 9:15, 9:30. It wasn't.
That's right. You wasn't at work. It was kind of quiet today. Oh, go
whatever.
ahead.
It wasn't a Kia. It was like some type of gold SUV, and they had a sunroof. Maybe it was Kia. I don't know. But I'm like, it's 9:15, 9:30. It was literally somebody hanging out the sunroof.
Kia.
Huh?
I've never seen a gold Kia.
Okay, so I don't know what it was. It might have been like a GMC or something like that. But I'm like, it's 9:15, 9:30 in the morning. Somebody is come driving down the street in his SUV. Somebody's hanging out the sunroof. Oh, there's another person hanging out the passenger side, and they're swerving, doing like this, coming down the street. I'm just like, these are some damn. Who is you trying to impress at 9:15, 9:30? It's mostly old people over here. They ain't nobody outside to look at y'all be foolish. What is the point?
I don't know. Something unfortunate like that Kia in that school bus incident.
Oh yeah, y'all. That boy hit that bus hard.
And then his friends ran and left him there.
Right. So if y'all don't know locally, there's a story where these kids stole a Kia, and the boy was sitting on the passenger window, hanging out the window and stuff. His friend going down the street swerving and hit a damn school bus. That while the boy is on the window, hanging out the window, and that boy hit the back of that school bus, did a whole 490 degree flip and landed on the ground. Fractured skull, everything hurting. They hit the bus so hard, the boy getting off the bus hurt himself getting off the bus. They hit that bus hard as hell.
Then they hit another car. They hit
another car. And then the boy that's laying on the ground, he damn near dying, and all his friends just take off running. So these ain't your real friends. I don't know what these kids today, they don't know nothing about real friendship no more. Real friendship don't exist with some of these kids no more.
Man, that was terrible.
Family don't exist at times. Like,
Well, I
No more.
created my own little family because sometimes I'm like I don't deal with my people, so I've created my own little family. That I deal with.
Thank you, nephew.
I don't
I
like you.
agree to that.
Right, brother? Okay.
I know Tina is like, see, y'all. Tina's like my annoying older sister. She always nagging me about something.
Annoying? Never.
She always nagging me about something.
You
I
complain
kid
more
y'all
than
not.
I do.
Oh,
Yeah. I stand with you on anything else, but I ain't fucking with that woman up there. I know she telling the truth.
oh Lord.
That's a
Look,
shame.
cause y'all know I be trying to choose violence and stuff sometimes. She be like, "No, you shouldn't do that. You should stop cussing out old yeller. You be hurt. You should stop hurting this." But no, you ain't say that. You be letting me hurt his feelings. But anyway,
I let you hurt his feelings. I can't stop you from doing it.
oh, but sometimes I be waking up and trying to choose violence and stuff, and she be trying to stop me.
That's
And
why you get to work and I be trying to tell you to choose it.
oh no. See how you go? Oh no.
Shit.
Oh, oh
I
no.
do
Now, I'm
every
not
morning.
saying people don't need to be told off. I'm just saying do it
I mean,
politely.
some people deserve to be told off. I mean, you already tagged me in that video, and I was tempted to go out and start kicking people in their chins. I'm just saying.
I was like, if this ain't him, oh my goodness.
I was ready. I was like, "Oh, I want to go do it." So
That's
it's some people there I want to do it to at that job, but I just can't. I can't do it yet.
not
Not
you
yet. But they gonna get it. They
you
gonna get it
already
though.
wanting violence.
I be trying not to, y'all. I be trying not to, but it just naturally happens. I be trying not to choose violence, but sometimes people just be pissing me off. Like, oh man, theater generation. I don't understand why do they got to get on the highway during rush hour and drive 41 miles an hour on the highway, knowing people like me left the house late, try to get to work, and gotta do criminal speeds to get to work on time, and then you go get on the highway driving 41 miles an hour. Stay the fuck off the highway during rush hour time. Okay, why is that so hard? Where the hell is you going? The bingo hall is closed. Well, they probably going out to Potawatomi to the casino.
They might be going to the
They
doctor
can't be going to
or the
Potawatomi
Six
going
o'clock in the
westbound,
morning?
you piece of
or
shit.
to the grocery store.
They can't be going to Potawatomi going west, you asshole.
Oh.
From where you come. Oh, stop
Well,
picking
wherever
with
the hell they
people.
be going, they need to close it. Hell.
They
Hell,
might
hell,
just be
you.
going out of town. Hell.
Oh.
See what I'm
Well, it's gonna
saying?
take them months to get there at the rate they
Oh
driving.
my
I'm just
God.
saying.
You know what? You should just stay in the house. Don't
No.
drive.
You know what?
He gonna be
Yeah, I'm
one
gonna stay in
of
the
the
house
people
and
we talking
mourn.
about.
Yeah.
I Lord, they don't took her, Lord. They took her, Lord. They took her, Lord. They took her. They took her. They took her. Oh Lord, have mercy. They took her. Oh
Now that
Lord.
was the queen.
Not Torian
That
crying too.
that was the queen.
he
Fuck
did get it on.
Mariah. Fuck Mariah Terry.
Okay, first of all, Mariah Carey is the queen of pop.
No, no. She's
Tina
Tina
garbage.
Turner is
rock
the
and
queen of
roll.
rock and roll.
Yes. But
Mary J. Blige is the queen of R&B. No,
I
she
give
ain't.
her
I
credit on
don't
that.
think that
But
really was.
the first one is a lie.
Uh, because I don't care. Everybody keep on saying they can say no. Whitney. I'm sorry. Whitney, no. I said Whitney career didn't really have no longevity to it.
Hey
It's like,
buddy.
down there say,
Hey buddy.
buddy.
Hey buddy. Hey.
Hi.
Torrent.
Oh, for the audio listeners,
Hey buddy.
Torian is on camera right now.
That's the
But
head man behind the scenes.
But yeah,
Hey
Whitney,
buddy.
I can. Somebody got mad at me because I said Whitney's career didn't have longevity, and it was like yesterday. I said no, it didn't. Like her career only lasted in the '90s, really, and once the 2000s came, her career was dead.
First of all, it's not another voice like hers.
It's not.
So her career didn't need longevity. It was the voice.
And you're right. But I was like a lot of other artists like came out in the 80s and 90s were able to reinvent themselves to stay relevant once the 2000s came and was able to still put out albums and sell albums and singles and all these other kind of things before everything went digital. And Whitney was not one of those artists who was able to do that. When night after Heartbreak Hotel, her career just died. And people don't, they're like, no, they're like, her last album that she, studio album that she put out was like 99.
She
And
went
Whitney didn't,
into she went into
Whitney,
TV.
no, she wasn't doing TV or
Acting.
nothing. All the
She went
acting
into
in the movies, all the movies was in the 90s. When the
that's what she
2000s came, Whitney, she did like concerts here and there. But other than that, she just disappeared. And Whitney didn't come out with a new album. It took 10 years for her to put out a new album. And then 3 years after the album came out, she died. So that's why I was like she didn't it didn't have that longevity.
Okay, first of all, I feel like you are comparing her to Mariah.
No, I'm not even not just Mariah. Like I felt like even when the 2000s came around, Prince was able to reinvent himself. Cher was able to reinvent hers himself. Madonna did it. A lot of artists did it. Who and from the '90s they changed their style of music. They changed a lot to reinvent themselves. And I'm not just saying like just Mariah in general. Like Michael Jackson, like he sort of reinvented himself in the early 2000s. What stopped him with the whole child molestation stuff came about, and that's what kind of killed his career. But a lot of other artists who were in like even Luther Vandross in the early 2000s was able to reinvent himself to make himself relevant in the early 2000s. The Isley Brothers was able to find a way to make themselves relevant after, and they started in the 60s and 70s. Tina Turner was able to reinvent herself and was still relevant in its early 2000s and 2010s.
So what do you think happened? Because I feel like she definitely would have been able to reinvent herself. So what do
It,
you think was stopping
what
her?
it was, it, I felt like when the whole Bobby thing just basically came out, and then there's like she did that stint in rehab. I think she did like 3 months in rehab, and after she, because I like it was like after I say 2003, like Whitney, y'all know she wasn't putting out new music. She was doing like little tribute, like doing tribute performances at like award shows and stuff like that, or she'd do like greatest hits performances at award shows like that. But it was just like after 2003, it was just like the drugs and everything just got real bad. Like she was so high, she missed her own father's funeral.
So it wasn't necessarily that it wasn't professional, it was personal
It was
reason.
the personal stuff. It was personal stuff, yeah. And then another thing why I don't know, she tried it with it's not right, but it's so like to like try to reinvent that kind of music or whatever. But like I feel like one of the
Did she
things that
have a
kind of
gospel album?
I don't know. I kind of feel like one of the things that really hurt her career was the fact that a lot of these other artists that we had named, like I'm pretty sure Cher don't do a lot of writing, but she has input on the writing. But all of the music that we heard Whitney sing, she didn't write any of it. All
Mhm.
that stuff was she heard somebody did a demo and she took that demo and re-recorded it and made it into her own style. A lot of the artists that I had named, they all wrote their own material. So they knew how to write their music to go with today's, with how when music was starting to change and progress. Because Whitney didn't write her own music, she had to wait for somebody to come bring her something that's
Mhm.
for her to do. I felt like that kind of damage, that made it harder for her to be able to, move on,
Mhm.
to be able to change how music changed. And like I said, as time went on, you the way how we listened to music in the '90s, it totally changed. Like nothing sounds. Although they're trying to bring it back a little now because everybody's trying to sample everything from the '90s, but still, it's like everything was. And I don't Whitney's voice, to be honest, wouldn't go well with that kind of music. And
No,
because
that's
that
why I
type
said,
of
did she
music,
do a gospel album? Because she got that really
yeah,
strong
right,
soulful.
right. But like if your voice, if you couldn't go, if they couldn't make a to your voice at that time, and you put out new music where they can do no fist pump too, it's a good chance your career didn't survive. Eh, you right, you first say you know how to you know how the music changed theater. Everything you got to
No,
be able to
no.
fist pump to.
Damn it, Kurt Franklin will never cuss. Oh, oops, my bad.
I didn't say cuss, I said fist pump.
Oh.
Like I just feel like I feel like the mainstream music market changed, and way how the mainstream music market had changed, wouldn't have been able to survive how the mainstream music market changed.
Mm.
She might have been able to. She was in a very, very messed up marriage for many years. She could have made something dirty about her and Bobby or something. Who knows?
Yeah, that's that. And I had thought about that
That's
too.
all they
Like,
talk about in these songs nowadays is selling dope and screwing and all this other stuff
see,
and how many hoes
but
they
but
yeah.
but here's the thing though: the artists from the '90s, they talked about the same thing that the young people talked about in their music, but they were able to write their music in a way to still get on the radio without all the cussing and the extra stuff to say, "Hey, I like about sex and everything," and not have to worry about their stuff being censored. Like the '90s artists knew how to do that. Like to be honest, I never paid attention to her lyrics, but Beyonce was a nasty heifer back in her day on her solo stuff, and she was talking all this sexual stuff. I mean, a lot of sexual stuff. But not one time did she cuss in her music. She didn't start cussing into her music till she got to like 30.
She got what?
Like Beyonce didn't really start cussing in her music, like as she's saying bitch and all this other kind of shit, and and like even Kelly Rowland, like Kelly Rowland had songs she kept mentioning pussy in the song, and all this other kind of stuff. They didn't do that until they was in their 30s.
That's true.
During they
I remember me first hearing Beyonce swear. I was like, what was that? Let me rewind.
right, and
I
like
remember.
they were still able to make music very sexual without the actual sexual, like how they do in rap music, like that bitch sucked my dick down to the balls and goggled on them. Like they were able to talk about sex in a way without being so nasty with it. I guess I should say.
Mhm.
Like you look at Lady Gaga, when she was talking about taking a ride on a disco stick, I'm like, and then I later on like, what's a disco stick? Like, she nasty. Like when I first heard this song, I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that's what she was talking about. Like artists who write their own music know how to say things without making it seem so sexual. And that's what I kept saying with Whitney. That was her downfall because she didn't write. If Whitney was able to write her own music, she would have been a bad bitch. That's what I'm
Okay, fair enough.
saying. Because even Patty old ass somehow managed to stay. I don't know how she stayed relevant through these years.
Her
I mean,
pie.
she had a few Christmas albums. She did put out albums every now and then that nobody really knew about that came out, but somehow she was still able to stay relevant. I guess it's just because people just love
Pies.
Patty. Huh?
Her pies.
You right. That's what it was. Her damn pies. That's how she was able to stay relevant.
Remember, she was rolling around on the ground during that one show she did.
She always rolling on the ground somewhere.
It was like a little mat, and then they had to help her up. She was rolling around the ground. I was
I
like,
said,
oh,
yeah, look at Cher. Her old ass still on tour, touring and stuff. Hell, and up there 79 years old and
You're
dressing
fine
like
for her age. I ain't
she
even gonna
is
lie.
fine as hell. She is
I
fine.
ain't even gonna lie.
Who?
Theater like she ain't fine. That old white bitch ain't fine.
She
Who?
not white. I thought she was native.
Oh, oh, I don't know.
I thought she was native. Let's find
Who?
Share.
Mm.
Did I keep forgetting about Glass Night and all that? But we on it out. Final thoughts. Go.
out. What?
Okay. My final thought is Gen Zs, thank you all for going out to go vote. Ron DeSantis needs to be locked up in jail. He should be charged with crime against America or something. I don't know what it's called. Conspiracy to against America. What do they call that stuff when somebody committed a crime to dethrone the government?
Treason?
There we go. Ron DeSantis needs to be charged with treason to the United States of America. Um, Gen Z's again. Thank y'all for going out and vote. Rest in peace, Tina. I'ma miss you, Tina. Rest in peace. Uh, really, that's my final thoughts. And then don't forget to head over to habits365.com and use code Anthony Ford. Oh, that's wait, sorry, it's Habits New York now. Habitsnewyork.com and use code Anthony Ford to receive 20% off your purchase, and repsports.com and use code Martel1 to receive 5 to 10% off your purchase. And don't forget to check us out on Instagram, SCDD Podcast on Instagram, SCDD Podcast on TikTok, and Same Cast Different Day Podcast on Facebook, and SCDD Podcast on Twitter.
What you say about some titties?
Oh my God, wait. It was this one lady, I was at the store, right? This lady, she had this big ass fupa that touched her knees and shit. But then she had these big ass titties with these really hard nipples that damn near touch your knees. To that motherfucker, it looked horrible. I couldn't even name that shape, y'all. I don't even know what it was.
This is why I don't take you anywhere.
Oh my bad.
This is why I have to have little mini sidebars with you at all times.
What?
Because that escalated quickly.
I'm just saying, y'all should have seen them damn things. Like, girl, how your stomach did to her? It was like the titty sat right on top of the stomach while it was hanging down on her knees and shit. Like, God damn, bitch, fix that.
Well, final thoughts. I'm like really pissed off about oh boy, because I'm not gonna say his name because it don't matter. Absolutely. I feel like we say this every single podcast. Go out and go vote. Educate yourself on what these people are pushing. Dig a little deeper and see what they really are about, what they have accomplished in their previous political careers. And just show up and show out and start thinking about the country as a whole and as human beings and not pawns in a chess game. And those are my final thoughts.
Mine is whatever they said.
I'm so sick of this old man. I'm sick of him.
I caught the butt end of the major conversation, so I really don't know.
That's because you
So,
old.
thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Same Cast, Different Day podcast. We are happy to be back. Sorry that we had y'all only get one episode a week now. I'm sorry, due to scheduling. And then Tina's gonna be in clinicals again. So I just think it's better if we do one episode a week, so that way she can get that. Quit giving them free advertisement. They need to pay us for that.
Oh. I was just trying to see with the woman nipples that never mind.
God, damn it, you baby. Oh yeah, because so Tina could get that degree, so she could write me some excuses to get out of work. But yeah, she could. So yeah. I mean, thank y'all for tuning in to this episode of Same Cast Different Day podcast, and we see y'all all on the next one. All right now.